Hey, I'm back. I got to enlarge this a little bit so that we can kind of get a little too big. There we go. Now the picture's just right. Want to make sure everything's recording. Yep, it is. Okay. Well, guys, this is a game between Robert James Fisher as White and Sam Restskysky. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but you can see who it is. Black resigned. It was a Roy Lopez closed variation. So let us head right on into it. Okay, e4, e5. Let me see. Then he plays knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, a6, bishop a4, castles. So if you notice that a lot of the players back in the 60s, because this was actually a 1966 game, it was the second Petroglovsky, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Petroglovsky Cup, 1966. So I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but so this is actually from a game Bobby faced this gentleman here, and he loved the Roy Lopez. It was sometimes Bobby would actually play takes here and then what would happen is he would play for an endgame because of the weaknesses of these pawns. You have a majority better pawn structure, and sometimes Bobby would do that. But in this one, he did a4. So knight f6, castles, bishop bishop e7, rook e1. You're wondering why he didn't take here. You're probably wondering that. The reason is here. Then when he comes back, then actually he can't take. I'm sorry. That's wrong. It's actually, I'm sorry. Knight takes. That's right. I forgot about that. It's you can't take rook takes in that variation. This is the only way that it wins, because then if you take here and you have here, and you really can't castle now because of that. So there's reasons that move sequences are played. There, rook. He attacks the bishop. See, that's a line that could happen as well. In this situation, sometimes they'll actually play, and then you could play rook, and then push the pawn up to get the position going. But he's going to castle, and then maybe you could do something like that and crunch the center, like here, 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 and then now you're playing on the weakness of these pawns here. So potentially it could happen that way. So castles, c3, guys. He played pawn. Sam. His name's Sam. I'll just call White Fisher. All right, you know what, we're calling him Sam, so we'll call him Robert. So we'll call Sam for black and Robert for white. Okay, and we'll know it's Robert James Fisher. Okay, so Sam is trying to fortify the pawn so that when this is played here, it's not as powerful. H4, that stops the knight from coming in. It gives a flight square to the king. Prevents this bishop from coming in. So how many moves did it stop? Did it do? 3. 1, 2, 3. So every move should, my teacher Nate Gringo said, should have at least 2 to 3 ideas behind it. So don't just play a one move idea, because that means that you're either reacting to your opponent like Jeremy Silman says, or you're just moving for moving's sake. Don't do that. Okay, knight to d7, and Robert pushes straight for the center. Sam says ain't gonna happen, so he's gonna play. He's more likely gonna try to implant the knight there. He also wants to, if takes here, to implant a knight there. He could maybe maybe there's a push here. He could play there. Maybe even knight, a bishop there. You know, there's a whole bunch of ideas that black has for in his back pocket. So knight to d2. Knight d2 is really, it's a strong move, because it's preparing to, if need be, play c4. Also, f1 could transpose into either one of these spots. More likely, Robert would probably play here so that he can infiltrate into somewhere in around the king. So takes, and then now this is an interesting sitch here. Should, because this is kind of this. I know there's a lot of words that I'm trying to say at one time. Robert's going into a endgame. A position where there's going to eventually be an isolated pawn. He'll have an isolated pawn here, and so black's going. His idea is to play against this pawn here. So what would happen is, if something did happen like this, let's say these two pawns were gone, Robert would not want to trade pieces off. He'd want to stay in the middle game, because if he gets to an endgame, the isolated pawn becomes weak. He moves back. The bishop's coming in. E5. Oh, see, that was a mistake on Sam's thing. He should have taken here. Because if you think about it, yes, there's takes here. There's takes here. I gotcha. I understand. But what are they then playing against now? The isolated pawn. So either way, even if bishop takes, you can always play here, and you still have an isolated pawn that Sam could be targeting. But he didn't do that. He let Robert push the pawn onward, and now he's fine. Robert's okay. He was able to salvage that the isolated pawn not having to go into it. And now, of all things, let's take an account of what we have. Robert not only doesn't have an isolated pawn anymore, he's got a 3 versus 4 majority on the king side. So this is going to be really tough for black to be able to handle when you have these pawns just rolling up the board like this. You're gonna get stormed. Queen to d7. Queen d7. It connects the rooks. It doubles so the rooks can be connected. It also allows, if ever need be, to sack the bishop takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, and queen takes pawn, and then maybe you can deliver mate somewhere over here. But right now Robert has it all covered. He does have one sitch against him though, one issue. His dark squared bishop is trapped by his knight. His pieces are cluttered for at the moment. They're cramped. See, he has this like really knot of pieces right here. And his opponent is cramped because of the pawn here. So this buys Robert time to actually maneuver his pieces out. Maybe here and then here, something like that, or maybe bishop Maybe, I don't know. We're gonna have to see how he implements it. He did play knight b3. Now Sam's trying to trade down. Robert's in just 2 moves, Robert untangled all of his pieces, and now he's the one that's in the position to win. Rook F E8. Bad move. It allotted Robert to be a pawn up in the computer's mind, because what he should have played is either thought about taking here, and then with queen takes, then you could takes. Yeah, you might have to play here, but it's still playable. You still can keep the game going. But the sitch in which he just moved his rook allowed Robert to take at this point. And then when he took back, now he could take here and attack here. See, that's the problem. You got to be careful. So knight comes in. He can't leave his knight here, because if that takes, it'd be attacking his queen back here. I'll show you. If he didn't move this knight here, this would be attacking the queen, and then the rook would be attacking the knight. Double attack. So forced was knight. Then the knight comes in. Now he's got an outpost, a knight, attacking the queen. Also, this is still under attack. So everything is Operation Go. There's queen. So when he takes there, up, queen moves back, knight takes. Do you see how all these moves are all thought out by the players? And then takes. Do you see how it looked like, wait a second, he was giving up a piece? No, he got it back with interest. A5. Sam plays A5. He's trying to push the queen off its mark, but she's not worried. She moves she moves back to C3. C3 attacks the pawn on C7, keeps an eye on this, and if need be, knight comes over, maybe mate there. I don't know. There's a lot of ideas here. Knight H4, trying to go after the bishop. Knight attacks, and Robert's not afraid if knight takes here, because of implanting a knight right there. And that's actually what was played. So hey, C6. I would move, yeah, and then rook E6. That was a mistake. The computer says to play here. That's the most prophylactic move, or active move. Well, this is just the computer line. And that's their line. But this is what was played by the opponent, his player Sam. Now Robert's able to expand in potential fork happening. So F5 must be played. Must be played. And so now he attacks on the side. First of all, let's go back real quick. I moved. We should take stock of the idea right now. Okay, before white moves. White has a protected pass pawn by two pawns. F4 and D4 protects the E5 pawn. But at this moment it can't move. Jeremy Silman would call this a traitor in the position, because this pawn is taking up a space where this knight would love to be. It can't move. It's stuck there. It's not doing anything but taking up a spot where a better piece could be positioned. But if this knight can get kicked out, I mean, not knight, this rook can get kicked out, this pawn is free to roam. So it's a double-edged position. So Robert decides, you know what? If I can't get in on one side, I'm going to hit him from the other. And so he hit him right from, he was going right for the center. He gave the guy, he tried to give him an uppercut. The guy ducked, and now he's going straight for the body. And Sam's like, oh, I ducked, but oh, right in the side. So now there's a triple attack on the c6 pawn. If this pawn goes, Robert was a master of the endgame too. So b1, a3. He doesn't want to. Robert doesn't want to give this pawn up because if let's just say here, 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 yeah. But then he's got this guy that's running up the board, and so is it really worth trying to go after the pawn right away? Why not just step back, protect it? There's really no reason to worry about it. It's also, this is protected here, this is attacked there, this is attacked there. So there's the theory of two weaknesses again coming out into play. Queen d8. If you notice something too, Robert has been pushing the game the whole time from a certain point on. When he was cramped back here, Black had an opportunity here, had an opportunity to push the game, but he didn't. What happened then is Robert stepped in with two moves, developed everything. Sam is reacting to all of Robert's ideas. He had to protect this. He has to protect that. Everything's not protected. This pawn most definitely is going to probably go. This bishop can go. See, this queen attacks the knight, protects the pawn, but it doesn't take away that this bishop's going bye-bye. And then there's still this passed pawn that's right in the throat of the king, of Sam's position. So we have to remember, look for those ideas. It comes takes, and then there goes a pawn. What can you say? What can you say? The computer says to push here, and then potentially it's okay. But he did not see that, so he played in there. What he's trying to do is undermine the pawns on f4 and d4. So it's understandable why he would play that. Takes. This is what they're saying. Potentially this could have been a draw, but he blundered with where's that? That was a questionable. That was a losing move. Losing. And then what happened was he should have checked. See, Sam got frustrated. You see, time and time again, you can start to see these players are excellent players, but when they get into a pickle, they're human. They're human. They get all frustrated, they get upset, and then they start making back-to-back inaccurate moves to the extent that the game is lost. So remember, if you can get players into positions, I mean, if you can get the board, you don't want to play your opponent. Play the board. If you can get the position into the board into where whoever is playing on the other side gets frustrated, they'll start making mistakes. They'll start getting, when they lose a pawn or two, they'll start saying, man, that was foolish. Man, that wasn't good. Man, that wasn't this. And then that doubt will start creeping in. They won't see the best moves. And then they'll slowly fall apart because they don't know how to they don't know how to handle the pressure. I'm not saying that these players don't, but they also are human as well, and so they get frustrated and upset. So remember, even if you're down a piece or a pawn or a couple pawns, don't get frustrated. Don't get frustrated. Don't say to yourself, I can't do it. Say to yourself, I can do it, and how can I either save this game or win this game? Remember that. King goes to h6 because he's afraid of, what he's afraid of is this here. See, this is the best move here. And check there. Do you see, kinda, it's a losing for white, but still, there's still, I mean, losing for black, but there's still a chance that black may be able to hold this. I doubt it when you're playing with Robert Fischer, but you never know. Okay, so he moves there. The queen's trapped as well, so there goes the queen. And at this point, his opponent decided to, I think he might have even either lost on time. Hold on, I have to clip this so I can get to the part where it talks about what actually happened. Right there, perfect. Okay, it said, let me see. Ruskatsky had no need. See what happened at this point. He resigned. Sam did. He said Sam had no need to see that rook takes. Let's see, where does it say? It says rook takes b2, e6, king h7, g6, and then takes. There's no way to avoid that. So Sam just said, you know what? I don't want to have this happen on the board. Think about it. We're playing out the game, right? You wouldn't want your predecessors before you are the ones that you wouldn't want to have your pupils see this type of a slash and dash. So before he even moved, he decided, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to have this happen. This isn't a representation of me. So he said no and gave up on, not gave up, resigned. And so that right there should tell you that if you can win a game by constantly putting the pressure on. Put the pressure. And if your opponent allows you to unwind your position, unwind it, win it. Okay, let's do some tactics now. Actually, I think, let me see. Should I do some tactics or kind of, I got some work I need to do. I'm not sure. Well, I'll do a couple tactics. Yeah. Hey, I love chess. I can't help it. I have to do some. So, I'm with you guys. Okay? I'm with you. Let's do this. Wow, on to move 7. Whoa. Move 7 of all things. There's a mate threat right here. Gotta be careful with those move sequences, huh, guys? Okay, let's see. Let's go back to castles, queenside. Come on. Sometimes I gotta. There we go. Okay, good. Okay, there we go. Okay. Let's see. H6. Knight E5. Knight D5. Okay. Attacks. He's going for this right here, if he knows. Remember this, yes, it's being protected here, this is being there. Trying to see, because oh, wait a second, there's a mate here. See, if you play knight to e6, guys, that, and then undiscovers an attack with mate. See, it's just small things you gotta see. All right, end game, love it, yeah. We gotta love the end game, baby, love it. So in this sitch, what are we thinking about? This passed pawn, right? So if we can play our rook here, we can push the pawn. Remember, rook behind the pawn is really important. So if we play here, let's say he plays there, we could push here. I'm going to play here. I like this. I think, if I'm not mistaken, king. Hold on. Okay, if we play here. Yeah, it's here. Alright. I'll do one more, guys. I know I am. I said I was only gonna do 3. Oh, I gotta do one more. One more. Okay. Let's start out move 1, because then we kind of can see where we're going here. see. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so now we know the idea is to go here, here, and here. Man, that's an amazing. You gotta say, it looks amazing, doesn't it? Let's see if we play. Oops, wait a second. Rook. If we play rook takes here, knight takes, rook takes, king takes. Maybe. It's also a potential queen to e6. But let's see, here. If it takes here, it takes there. So my idea was right. Should have went with it. Drat. Do one more. We'll end on this positive win. Okay, here. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, let's see if we play takes here. But if we play takes here, there we go. Okay, that's 17 points. That was perfect. That was a good recovery. Okay, guys, I appreciate that you guys logged on, watched. I know it's a little short today. I got some work I gotta do. I appreciate you logging on, spending time, and keep learning, keep getting strong, keep fighting, keep serving the Lord. Okay, as Wesley So would say, serve the Lord Jesus, and as I always say, guys, God bless. And I will see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. You guys have a great rest of the night. Okay? Bye-bye.